On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, a tiny local village that borders one of our area's hottest retail areas is getting ready to spread its wings. A new project could mean new life for Silverton. Silverton is nestled between Cincinnati's Kennedy Heights neighborhood and Kenwood. Its population has been declining for more than 50 years, and the village watched as development around it exploded. But that could change. Silverton has entered into a memorandum of understanding with a joint venture between Miller Valentine Group and Jeffrey Anderson Real Estate. It calls for redeveloping a 10.5-acre site along Montgomery Road. The vision is a nearly $50 million redevelopment project that will include luxury apartments, office space, street-level retail, and restaurants, all of which could jumpstart new investment in the community. This would be the largest development in Silverton's history, and it would be the first substantial new development in the neighborhood in decades. To talk about it, we're happy to be joined by Tom Carroll, Silverton's village manager. He's with Business Courier editor Rob Dalmeyer in the studio. Tom, Rob.
Allie, thank you. Tom, thanks so much for being here. Before we get into the project itself, for those who aren't familiar, I happen to have used to live about a quarter mile from Silverton, so I'm pretty familiar with it. But for people who aren't, where is it and what kind of neighborhood is it? What kind of village is it?
Sure. Silverton is along Montgomery Road. We're bisected by Montgomery Road, east-west. We're about a mile west of Kenwood Mall. So most people would know Silverton, having driven through it between Pleasant Ridge or Kennedy Heights and go into the Kenwood Mall.
Right. And so when I first heard about this project from Tom Demeropoulos, who's our real estate reporter, I was just, wow. I mean, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth, and I'm frankly still saying wow, because this is not something I expected for Silverton. When did you get approached, or when did this whole idea start for this giant project?
You know, the project started back in 2008 and 2009, well before I came to the village of Silverton, but Silverton did essentially a cashless land swap with Cincinnati Public Schools. They were looking to rebuild the Silverton Padea School, and we provided them about 6 acres of land at Fickey Park. They built the new school, and they cleared the 5.8-acre former Silverton Padea site off Stewart Road. So we received possession of that property about a year ago, February of 2015. And I've been with the village for 2 years, and we've been quietly assembling parcels around that 5.8-acre site, and we've assembled 10.6 acres right there at Montgomery and Stewart.
Why are you excited about this, and why do you think it's a good idea?
It's a great idea. I mean, mixed use is the kind of planning design that is in vogue today at every design plan charrette. So this is contemporary and cutting-edge planning. There's a couple things that are particularly exciting about this for Silverton. Number one, we have been losing population for the last 50 years, just a slow attrition of resident numbers. Interestingly, we became a village in 2011 when the 2010 census figures were published. We dropped below 5,000.
Yeah.
So we went from a city status to a village status. And what's neat about this project is it should start to reverse that trend. We should start to grow again and add people and have that vibrancy. In addition, the commercial and residential components both will add significantly to our tax base.
Right.
And for a municipality, adding to the tax base means those deferred projects, the roadways, the park investments that are desperately needed can now be funded in the future. Well,
last question before I let you go here. When should we start to see some progress on the site?
We are working with Miller Valentine and Jeffrey R. Anderson. They're great guys to work with, real Class A developers. We anticipate that the residential component will probably start in the fall.
Okay.
And the commercial component closer to Montgomery Road will probably start next year or the year after.
Well, good luck with this. It's very exciting, and I cannot wait to see what this all looks like when it's done. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.